Hello, my friends. I hope that you're all doing really well. So I wanted to do this a little bit different. I have asked you guys to send me in your questions. Now, I know that I haven't been doing the live streams for quite some time, and in a bid to kind of help with that, because I know that the live streams had been really helpful for you guys. So this video really is I am answering your questions. So in a post quite a few weeks back, I had asked if you had any questions for me to kind of put them in the comment sections below. Now, I have been answering your questions, and this is what I kind of am doing this video. I am going to be kind of replying to your questions that you had submitted. Now, thank you to each and every one of you who have actually submitted questions, and they were all really, really good. I just want to say that if I haven't answered your question, I'm really, really sorry. It's just because the video was going to be like really, really long. So that's why I kind of tried to keep it into more of a time constraint. But yes, so without the long intro and too much talking, I'm going to get into the video. And also just wanted to add that if this goes well, like if this is something that you guys want, please also put into the comments of this video, because then I know that you guys want me to do this, more of this. And so if this is the way, maybe we could make this into a more regular thing, which I really would like to, because I have had so much fun making this video and I love answering your questions and connecting with you guys. And as for the live stream, I am really hoping to bring that back very soon for season 3. So do stay tuned on the community post, because that's where I really will be kind of putting that information out there. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so we have a question here. Can you give some helpful insights on when you are in the phase of healing or survivor, how to navigate this to become a thriver? What does this path look like? And maybe feel like, if possible, to know what a person is heading in the right direction. Thank you. For all that you do, bring awareness to this personality disorder and how to protect and heal from the toxic abuse these personality disorders cause. Great, great question. Okay, so the healing phase is the really important one. It's not the one when you leave straight away from the narcissist. There are phases to this. The first phase, okay, when you are leaving the narcissist, ultimately, this is about you having the realization and accepting the truth. It's all about acceptance. And it isn't easy. It's really brutal, not going to lie. And each and every one of you know that. So when you're in this phase, there's not much healing that is going to be done. Then, of course, you leave. Again, this is another aspect of the acceptance, because you have to really accept that what you were in was a really abusive relationship that wasn't something that was serving you. It was really hurtful and painful. It is after all of the aftermath, the kind of the practicalities of understanding, realizing, and then leaving, that you then go into the healing phase. This is where you tend to have left. You're on your own, maybe you're in some sort of therapeutic alliance with a therapist or a counselor. And it's at that moment, because where this is really important is that you are in safety mode. You feel safe in your environment. It's almost like you have landed and you feel good, because you don't have to deal with all of that. But now you are understanding the aspects and you feel safe, because now you can explore. Now you can put all the pieces together. It's kind of like a dot to dot, where you see this for what it really is. And this is where the deep healing work starts. And the way that you know that you are healing is you have acceptance. There's a validation to your experience. You don't see this as you are the victim. You see this as like, okay, I needed to go through this because I needed some type of growth for some reason, for whatever reason it is. I needed to go through this experience to get to this point. And that person, that narcissist, they no longer affect you. It no longer upsets you. It no longer, you have to go onto their social media to look at what they are doing. You no longer are interested in their life. You're no longer feeding them energetically. That is when you know that you are healing and that you are on the right track. And this does come to every single one of you. And I know that before that period, it is really uncomfortable. And we have to sit in that uncomfortableness to basically come to the realizations that we do. You are always heading in the right direction if you have left the narcissist. Just want to say that, because actually it's not about going backwards, it's about going forwards into your future that is bright, that is happy, that is full of promise and positivity. So I really hope that that explanation really helps you. Thank you so much for submitting your question. Okay, so next one is, hi, thanks for your videos. They're really helpful to me. I'm an autistic woman who is in a narcissistic marriage. Can you please talk about the vulnerability of neurodivergent people who often get into narcissistic relationships? I know a lot of women who are like me, have narcissistic husbands because we're so naive and it's easy for them to blame all the problems and disabilities onto us. Oh, bless you, and thank you so much for your question. Okay, so you are right, and the statistics show that neurodivergent women, especially autistic women, are often targets, or often find themselves in narcissistic relationships. And it's not because there's anything wrong with you, it's because of your deep capacity for empathy, your honesty, and your tendency to take people at their word. Autistic women, unfortunately, statistics show that they are gaslit from a really young age, taught to mask, to question themselves and their instincts, not to be too sensitive. And what narcissists do is they exploit that conditioning. They end up twisting your logic. They end up gaslighting you, manipulating you, because you take people at their own word. And you also have a desire to avoid conflict. So this makes you almost very vulnerable to narcissistic individuals. And usually what happens is there's emotional abuse. This is kind of like masked with rationality or concern. And it's really sad because they turn this into psychological warfare, where they say that you're the issue, you're the problem. And it makes you even more kind of determined to try and prove them wrong, to try and prove yourself that you are not this person, because of your deep empathy, you want to make everything right. Please know that being neurodivergent isn't a weakness. It's the narcissist that exploits this with the manipulation. And it's not your brain, and it's not you, you're not too sensitive, it's not any of those things. It's because the narcissist does do a really good job at gaslighting you, at turning this on its head. And it's a way of you processing the world. You're a really kind soul, a really kind spirit, but it's really to do with the way that the narcissist treats you. And because of your empathy, your kindness, your compassion, they exploit it. And I feel like maybe I need to do a video into this, like a longer one, kind of talking about this a lot more, because I feel like this is something that is really important. And actually, as you had written that comment, and I did a bit of research, I didn't realize how important it is, like how many people are actually affected by this. But it's because, and I can see the dynamic here, a true empath, someone who is really kind, wants the best for everybody, doesn't really kind of explain their emotions because they have a fear, but maybe they are too sensitive, maybe they are being too talkative. They kind of want to blend more into the background and not kind of explore and explain themselves. So I do understand that this could be an aspect. So I really want to make a video on this, and I think that I will do. But what I want you to know is that you're not naive, and trust is a strength. It needs protecting from the wrong people, ultimately. Sending you lots of love, clarity, and power. And I really hope that this short explanation has been helpful. Thank you so much for your question. Okay, so the next question is, does every supply go no contact with the narcissist in the end? I would say most probably not. Research shows that a good majority of supply does go no contact, but think about it, like if you've got children or you've got assets, it's really difficult to go no contact with the narcissist at first. But I feel like a large proportion of people do actually end up going no contact, because I think Once you realize that you trying to get any sort of answer, any sort of validation, any truth out of this person, it is just not going to happen. You don't, do you? You have to come to your own conclusions. You have to come to your own understanding that this person is never going to be able to tell you the truth, and they haven't got your best interests at heart. So do most people go no contact? I would probably say, yeah, they do, because you can't have a friendship, you can't have a relationship with someone like that. You literally have to go no contact, because there is no other way around this. Okay. And I feel like that's where the issue is that whilst you are getting to that point where you don't want to have contact, or where there is going to be no contact, I think that it's a journey. I think no contact is the final destination with the narcissist. I really do, for you, not the narcissist, I'm talking about you. And that is where I think the most successful outcome is that's what you're trying to reach, is the no contact. But it is a journey to get there. Not for everybody, but for most people, I feel like it is, because you've got their family, or you've got children, or maybe you've got business with them, and it's not always easy to actually go no contacts. But this is the aspect, this is the whole point. That is the desired outcome. And I think that most people do end up just not speaking to them at all. And also it is to protect you as well. So I hope that answer helps. Thank you so much for sending your question in. The next question we've got: what percentage of narcissists are alcoholics or drug addicts? Really, really good question. I've got to say that I did actually work in a drug and alcohol clinic, rehabilitation clinic, and I did see a lot of narcissistic individuals. A lot. And a lot of people that deflect. But let's get into the statistics. So there is an exact single percentage of narcissists being either drug or alcohol users, but research shows a really strong overlap, significant, between narcissistic personality disorder and substance use disorders. Now, if you really think about it, narcissists, or people who have axis 1 disorders, will be using substances to cope. Even though many of them may be on medication, but a lot of them will be using substances to cope, because it helps to get out of their reality. I mean, these are powerful drugs or powerful substances that help you to get out of your reality. So this is why they will be using this. 40% to 64% of people that are diagnosed, 40 to 64% of people that are diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, they also meet the criteria for substance abuse disorder as well. That's the high statistics. That's like kind of like half of them, yes. Among people with alcohol dependence, anywhere between 17 to 21% meet the criteria for narcissistic personality disorder. Scrap that. Among people with alcohol dependence, 17 to 21% meet the criteria for narcissistic personality disorder. That's a quarter. A large study in 2004 found that about 50% of those with narcissistic personality disorder had a comorbid substance and abuse disorder too. I'm going to put the references in the description box below, and the link will be there as well if you want to check out that study that was done in 2004. So why is the link so strong? Well, thrill-seeking behavior, it's all about impulsivity. They want to reject accountability for the addiction, and it's all about getting out of reality, because they know that living in reality doesn't make them feel good. They don't feel good about themselves. So they're going to use substances to remedy that and not take medication that they're supposed to. Because let's face it, drug and alcohol give you that buzz. Normal medication probably doesn't. Self-medication, and that's what I'm saying. It's all about to not be in reality. It's also that will lead to risky behaviors, which are fun, exciting. It's not like everyday life. There's no accountability, and entitlement and denial. So it's kind of like they justify it to themselves, like, yeah, why shouldn't I be able to take it? Yeah, it's fun. It's good. Everyone else does it, so why can't I? What's wrong with me? So there's going to be a lot of deflection, and there's, again, no accountability. But one thing that I want you to remember is that not all addicts are narcissists. As you can see, it's anywhere between 40 to 64%. So yes, whilst it is half, while the percentage is higher, not all addicts are going to be narcissists. But when both of them coexist, the emotional abuse and the instability are often amplified. And this especially is done in relationships. So thank you so much for your question. And I really hope that my answer did do it justice. Okay, so the next question, the last one is, I'm wondering if it ever goes away. 20 years have passed. I was treated terribly both before and after I was discarded, and I don't even like the person she became anymore. Yeah, I can understand that. But I still miss that person. I thought about her every single day. Sometimes think there's just something wrong with me. I don't feel like I can get on with life properly until I move past it. But at this rate, I'll be lucky to have a life left. I'm almost 50 as it is. Thank you so much for sharing this. I mean, this is deeply moving and completely understand where you are. And by the way, 50 is still young. Okay, 50 is still young. You've still got your whole life ahead of you, honestly. And first of all, there's nothing wrong with you. There really isn't. This is something that a lot of survivors do face. And I know that it can become quite crippling and disabling because you're thinking, well, why am I stuck on this relationship? Like, why is this still happening? And the fact is that you were in a narcissistic relationship, in a really abusive relationship. That's why you are still hooked. Yes, it could be an aspect of the trauma bond, kind of most probably it is, but it's not weakness. You're still grieving. Okay, you're still grieving the relationship. You're still grieving what should have, would have, could have been. It's the hope. And I know I talk about this in my videos. It's the hope of what it could have been, of what it was promised to you that it should have been. It's trauma. Ultimately, this is emotional trauma. It's the emotional residue of loving someone that is like this. That's what this is about. It's the betrayal of who they pretended to be, but never actually are. And that is one of the most brutal forms of psychological abuse, of pretending to be someone that they're not. So let's take a breath together and really name it for what it really is. You're grieving a fantasy, not a person. When you say you miss that person every single day, you're missing the fantasy of that person who they presented you to be, that illusion of who they had hoped they would be. And the truth of it is narcissistic abuse is exactly that, a manufactured intimacy that we disguise for love, that we think is love. They mirror you so perfectly. They future fake so perfectly. And you feel like you've met your soulmate because they also mirror that so perfectly. It's so intense. Not to love you better, but as keys and ways for them to manipulate you better. And that's what it is. It's like this huge manipulation. I would say, sure, you were in love with her, but you were in love with a version of her. And the version of yourself, of the two of you, what could have actually been, that imagined future. The one that she had promised, the one that actually looked so real, like in the grasp of your hands, but it wasn't. And you see, that's the thing with narcissists. That's all about manipulation, gaslighting you into believing something that this actually isn't, but could have been, but it wasn't. And then it collapses. And that is the most devastating thing, because actually at that is when you see them for who they really are. Not for what it should have been, but for what, who this person is, what is going on. That idealized version, that version of you that lived in hope, that version that they showed you doesn't exist. And I think that's also really hard. That's the grief of the love and the hope that you wish this was, but it isn't. Grief doesn't show up when someone dies. It also comes up in relationships as well, even though this person is still alive, but you know that you're never going to be able to see them again or be with them in that same capacity as you were before, because actually that person doesn't exist and you still walk in that pain, in that grief of that person. But you will get over this and it will make sense and you will be all right. It isn't easy, but you can do this, okay? You can do this. Guys, what I do want to say is thank you so much for your questions. And I really wanted to make a longer video, but I think if I make this any longer, like, you guys will be asleep. So I will be doing this again probably next month. So do keep an eye out on the community posts. I really hope that the questions that I have answered have really helped you. And yeah, look out for the community posts, because I will be posting again when I will be doing a video like this. Your questions are amazing, and I think they're so interesting, and I really hope that the answers that I've given have helped you, will be able to help you to make sense of this, because I know that this isn't easy, and I want to best be able to support you guys. So guys, I really want to say thank you for your questions. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you have liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing for more informational and inspirational content on this channel. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.